Hello. Welcome to the Digital Sim Lab at Temple University. Today we're going to look at the Bolex H16. It's a Rex 5 camera. We have Rex 5, Rex 4, and Rex 3 Bolex cameras here. And all these cameras come with 3 prime lenses. We usually leave 2 on the lens turret. We've got a 25, a 10, and in this kit we have a Voigtlander 40 millimeter. The 40 is going to give you an equivalent of like an 80 when you put it in on the Bolex. For the Bolex, you've got your frames per second here. You can control your shutter here and here. Kind of just like I tell people, like it's like your modern digital SLR usually has 2 record button places, right? The front and the side, or the front and the back, right? So you got that. You can go this way and you can do animation. If you like streaking lights on the highway, that kind of trick photography, streaking water, right, in a river, you can do. You can go into time mode, which this one was in, right there, and then you can keep that your shutter open and get those like beautiful streaking, lights, or create Picasso with the flashlight, right, kind of thing. You know what I mean? You can go instantaneous, so you get like your standard like. Planes flying off, the runway at an airport really fast. And then usually you're in 24. It's going to sound like that, which is kind of a beautiful sound. If you go all the way over to M, you get into run lock, which you're in now. And this is like how back in the day you get your selfie, right? So you can like go into run lock and run in front of the camera and get in there with a family for or act in your own films. When you're in run lock, you're going to be away from the viewfinder, so you're going to close the door. So it has a door for that mode too. So it blocks light from entering that way. Usually the door is open. Then over here we have a variable shutter. The variable shutter is really handy because it allows people to do superimpositions and cross dissolves. You can do trick photography with a matte box that can be very complex with multiple passes if you really get into it and plan out your shots. And certain filmmakers would swear by doing special effects in camera. People like Cocteau and Kubrick and I'm sure there's others as well. But yeah, so you could do that with this, and a lot of people, like your average filmmaker might just want to do a fade out. So you can do that. You could crank up the camera and then just slowly bring down that variable shutter until it closes and get a nice smooth, fade out of just like your birthday party film or whatever. And then you can do a fade up too. Maybe you just want that. But usually it's going to be in the up, down, and lock position. Over here we have the lens turret with the lens turret handle, so you can quickly change to different focal lengths. This is kind of like this camera was designed prior to zoom lenses and definitely prior to their popularity, which I think is like it's kind of somewhere in the 60s, I think. And I think they became popular in the 70s. So this camera design goes back to the 30s, 40s. This model, though, is more like the late 70s, early 80s. And you can go to bolexcollector.org if you want to find your exact date of manufacture and use the serial number, which is pretty cool, because people just love this camera. But yeah, so the thing that's kind of fun about the lens turret is that you can, if you set up your manual lens to the right exposures, or maybe you can set up the focus before you shoot, and then you could even, switch. You can switch quickly and go from wide shot to a tight shot if you're doing documentary work. So it can become like an advantage, And some people like to run. Some people like to crank up the camera. And then they'll run it, and you can get this cool effect by just like dropping it down, and then you'll see like the image circle drop into the frame, and that can be kind of cool too. The Bolex runs for 17 feet with a full line, and then it stops. 17 feet is about 28 seconds, and it counts from zero. It counts from less than zero, about negative 3 or 4 feet, up to and beyond 100. This area is reset over here with this thing, so it's kind of set by the door opening and closing. And then before shooting, you get a full wind. You go up to 0. Oh, it's basically a 0. And then you wind up, and it would go up to about 17 feet. Use the Kodak Cinema Tools app. If you, to do the math, you can plug in 16 millimeter and, get that feet to frames per second situation. And then over here we got, because we already had a practice load loaded, we have the spool ejector button. So yeah, you hit that, take this out. You follow the path that they give you. It's just like any camera manufacturing company, try to make the product as easy to use as possible. And you're going to go this way with the film pursed down, and then it goes through these little teeth on the sprocket wheel. With the loop former closed, it'll go through all the way to the side. You don't have to bring it across the gate like you would with like a 35 camera, because it's auto thread, just like a lot of the projectors of its day. So you crank it up, you get your load loaded in there, bring the film stock to the front of that top of that reel, or top of that wheel, and then just press the shutter button.